What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connected with me this evening during my last leg of my 10,000 steps. This is, again, me finishing a little later than I'd like, but I'm finishing, and that's what counts. I started, and I finish it. It be sometimes that I get out here, and I get to stepping, and I leave my watch behind by accident, but I know how many steps it takes me to get around to certain places, so I'll do a rough estimate. I usually estimate down and not up, but I'll do a rough estimate of how many steps I did. So I came out here earlier. I didn't have my watch with me, but, you know, still had to count me some steps. But I'm going to talk about Bronny James. We all know who he is. It's LeBron James' son. He's in the NBA now. He got drafted with the, 55th pick to the Lakers. You know, his dad wanted this. His dad wanted to get to play in the NBA with his son, be the first father-son duo ever in the NBA. And, you know, man, listen, I got a lot of mixed feelings about this because I actually really love this. You know, I love the fact that LeBron got to last long enough. I mean, this is what for him? Is this year 22 coming up, or is this year 23? You know, I think it's year 22. But I mean, that's insane for somebody to last in the NBA for this long and still be so effective. Now, some of you, Bron is your GOAT. He's not mine. Michael Jordan is. But he very much deserves to be in the GOAT conversation. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about his numbers. You know, his preseason numbers ain't been so hot. I mean, he went 2 games in a row where he didn't score any points at all. He laid a goose egg. It was back-to-back games. And people like, he not ready. I remember a few months back, I think it was during Summer League, Jaylen Brown had said, I think he was talking to Angel Reese and somebody else that was with him. He was saying that he didn't think Bronny was a pro. He was only going to be on the Lakers because of, you know, his father. And, I mean, he wasn't completely wrong. It's hard to disagree with a guy that literally just won the championship. But, I mean, dang, man, for real, I got mixed feelings about this because, as I said, I do love this. But Bronny, his skill level right now, it's not looking NBA level. And I didn't know about his college numbers. I didn't really follow him too much when he was in college. I knew about he had the whole cardiac arrest thing, which was really scary. But apparently he was getting like 20 minutes per game, and he was averaging 4 points per game, something like that. Getting 20 minutes a game, that's pretty lackluster. So that's basically what the source of this is. People like when he was in high school, he was like the 5th or 6th best player on his team. So he wasn't the best player on his team when he was in high school. You go to college and he, you know, 20 minutes was averaging like 4 points per game. And then he ends up in the NBA. I get it, y'all. I hear y'all. You know, you say nepotism. And yeah, it is nepotism. I'm not going to even deny that. It is nepotism. I'm over here at CCS tonight. It's a little less light over here than usual. But yeah, it's nepotism. All right. There's no denying that. Bronny probably right now, with his skills, what they are currently, he would not have made an NBA roster if not for his dad pulling some strings. But about the nepotism accusation, is Bron not supposed to do this for his son? You know, people talking about he's in the league undeservedly, and the contract they gave him, I think he getting paid just under $2 million a year for like 4 years, something like that. You know, he got a lucrative rookie contract that, you know, they normally wouldn't give somebody that was drafted 55th overall. So, you know, there's that. But as I was saying, Bron is a father, and, you know, he's doing what any dad would. I hear y'all with the he don't deserve it argument, you know, that being Bronny. But it's just hard to say, because if I'm Bron, I know I'm going to do the same stuff for my son. People could hate on it all they want, but I know I'm going to do the same stuff for my son. It's my job as dad to set him up in the best position I possibly can. Now, it's on him to maximize it, you know, what I set up for him. But it is on me, you know, as a father, I'm supposed to set my children up for, you know, the best way I possibly can for them to, you know, deal with life. And he's in the position to do some things that other people can't. So it just is what it is, man. I can't say I hate him using his power and influence to do this sort of stuff for his son, because I don't hate it. I really like it. And other people do it too. Plenty of other people do it. They pull strings. It's just usually we don't see it on the court. You know, we usually see this in terms of coaching and executive levels. You'll get somebody that'll pull their family in, you know, their kids, their cousin, their wife. They'll pull them in that way, in the executive level stuff or coaching jobs. Not usually as a player, you know. So Bronny is there. Honestly, if I could be really real with y'all, and I'm rooting for this young man. I think he's, you know, for all intents and purposes, a good kid. You know, he seems to really be, you know, like interested in basketball. I think not only was this LeBron's dream, but, you know, you could tell that he loves the fact that he's doing this and it makes his dad proud. So he's soaking that up. But I think the Lakers was a bad fit for Bronny only because of his current skill level, seeing his struggles. Because, you know, I mean, Summer League and these preseason games, these are considerably less physical, less competitive than what the regular season brings. And if he's struggling to score under these conditions, it's going to be even harder during the regular season. So I don't really think the Lakers was a good fit for him. I don't think the Lakers would have been a good fit for him even if his dad wasn't there. I really think that he needed to have been drafted somewhere. And this is just me, man. This is just me. I'm not saying this should have happened. Just this is what I think. I think he should have been drafted somewhere, a small market where there's not pressure to win, where you know, he can kind of play, get some minutes, and really just comfortably develop. I think that the Lakers is a bad spot for somebody like that really needs to develop. If you just think back a few years ago when Lonzo got drafted to the Lakers, they used a number 2 pick to draft Lonzo. That was not a good situation for Lonzo. He was just not very good with the Lakers. And he gets traded to New Orleans, and he's a much better player. And then he gets traded to Chicago on the Bulls, and he became a pretty good point guard until he got injured. But it's like he finally found his situation he belonged in. So he found his situation and he thrived, but he first had to get out of LA. He first had to get out of LA and go to a smaller market where it wasn't as much pressure on him to like lead them to a championship, because that just wasn't going to work. Now, I'm not saying that pressure is on Bronny to lead them to a championship. However, his name is LeBron James Jr., so there's a bit of pressure that's going to come with that, and he's playing alongside his father, who many consider to be the GOAT. You know, as I said, this would have been not the greatest environment for him, even if his dad wasn't there. But with his dad being there, it's an even worse environment for him. So even though optics-wise, I love this. I love seeing, you know, the two of them next to each other. You know, they show the back of their jerseys, James and James Jr. I absolutely love this. I really do. Them being the first ever father-son duo to hoop together is fantastic. It's obviously going to sell tickets. You know, it's going to create memories, all that sort of stuff. But the trade-off for that is that Bronny is in an environment where I don't really think he's going to develop as well as he could. Because Bronny's obviously going to come off of the bench. Because who would he start over? You know, there's just no justification for starting him. If he goes to a different team that's not quite as good, you know, like, for instance, the Pistons. If he was on the Pistons last year, he would have got plenty of minutes because the Pistons was trash. If he would have been on the Pistons last season, he would have got a bunch of minutes and, you know, he'd have been able to develop without the pressure, you know, of playing for the Lakers. But he wasn't in the league last year. He didn't come into this year, and ain't no way in hell his daddy would have let him end up here playing for a team like them. His dad wants to put him in a situation where he can kind of coach him himself and oversee him himself. But we as parents, sometimes we don't drive our kids as heavily as we could because they're our kids. We don't want to press them too much and, you know, upset them and whatnot. So I don't know if that's really an issue that he's having, but, you know, it does exist. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it, man. The whole Bronny situation. You know, if y'all were expecting me to get on here and trash talk this kid, that wasn't going to happen, man. He's a young man. He's trying to find his way in the world. He is in a position that most people will never be able to understand or even begin to comprehend. He's in the shadows of his father. His father's an icon. You know, his father's known around the world as just his first name. You know you made it when people around the world know you by just your first name. LeBron, they know him by just his first name. So he's in a position that just most could never understand what that's like. He has a huge shadow cast over him, you know, by his father, and he has to figure out how to survive in that. So I'm not going to sit up here and trash talk this young man and say he's not deserving of this and that, because I think he is deserving. Just I don't think he was quite ready, if that makes sense. Like, I think if he would have had a couple more years, like maybe at least one more year in college to kind of play a full year without, you know, the whole cardiac arrest thing, he probably could have developed a bit better for coming to the league. But his dad is on the timeline. His dad may be out after this season. So I think it was pressure to get him one and done so he can get into the league. You know, but this is all speculation and conjecture. We really don't know, right? We're all on the outside just making judgments about something that we really have no inside information on. But no, I'm rooting for this kid. I want to see him you know, succeed. I want to see him become, you know, something memorable for the league. I mean, I don't think he's gonna live up to being his dad, but I mean, how could he? I mean, at 14 years old, we knew his dad already was gonna be something. By the time his dad was 16, he was a full-fledged stud. We had no idea that his dad would become what he became, but we knew his dad was special, though, even back then when he was just 16. So, you know, Bronny, I think he just turned 19. He just turned 19 or 20, one of those. But he's still really young. But at this point in his dad's career, his dad was way better than what Bronny is. I mean, honestly, his dad at 16 was way better than where Bronny is right now. But his dad just, you know, he was a natural talent. I think Bronny has some of that from his dad, but it's not quite there. He's gonna have to do a lot more work. The natural talent that his father was blessed with, I think some of it trickled down to him, but not enough. So we'll see what happens, man. As I said, I'm rooting for this kid. I have no hate about Bron bringing his son in, using his influence to bring him in. Because as I said, if it was my son, I'd do the same thing. And as a father, is that not what you're supposed to do? Let's just keep it a buck here. Is that not what you're supposed to do for your kids? You're supposed to use whatever hand you dealt, play it to the best of your ability to set yourself up and set your kids up as best as you possibly can. He was able to leverage his influence, his celebrity, his position with the Lakers to get them to use that number 55 pick. And I mean, that meant more to Bron than it did the Lakers, because it was pick number 55. What were they really going to get? You can't say that they wasted the 55th pick by getting Bronny, because what in the world were they going to get? That's pick 55. There's not really much on the table at that point. So they, you know, that was very much a throwaway pick. It meant far more to LeBron than it did the Lakers. So it really didn't hurt them to do this for him. It made him very happy, and it was a very low draft pick, man. But we'll see what happens, man. We got the I think next week we got the first game of the season coming. I think it's next week. The first game of the season coming. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to tune in for it, because I want to see Bron catch a oop from Bronny or vice versa. I'm here for it. So I'm here for it, man. I really am. It's a little corny, I get it, but I'm here for it regardless. So I'm gonna leave it there. I appreciate y'all connecting with me. I'm gonna get out of here, man. Peace.